Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Arshika from Grow Square, and today onwards we are going to start our work on vocabulary, on topic vocabulary specifically. So there would be several lectures related to this in which we would be explaining the words in detail along with their meaning and the usage in sentences as well. And afterwards there would be some practice exercises that you need to do on your own first, and afterwards we would also be uploading solutions on that, so you can watch solution lecture always. But yes, still I would suggest you to complete the exercises first of all on your own so that you can notice your progress. Okay, so without any halt, let's start. And first of all, let's give a look to the table of contents. So these all are the topics that we are going to cover in our lectures. So in the very first lecture, the vocabulary is related to classroom. So this is classroom vocabulary. So let's start. Here we are having the list of words. The very first word that we have is infer. Now, do you understand what is the meaning of infer? And here we have to tell the part of speech, like whether the word is noun, pronoun, or whatever it is. Okay. So what is infer basically? Infer is a verb, right? And if I talk about the definition, that means what the meaning of the sentence is. So infer means to determine something through indirect means, right? So this is the meaning of our sentence, that it means to, yeah, so here it is. It means to determine something through indirect means. That means जो चीज जो है उसका मीनिंग हमें खुद से निकालना पड़े. ठीक है, अब जैसे कैसे, how will you understand it better? Let's give a look to the example. So this example is saying that when students do not know, okay, जब स्टूडेंट्स को नहीं पता होता द डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ वर्ड, जब स्टूडेंट्स को एक वर्ड का डेफिनेशन नहीं पता होता, they can infer the meaning from the context of the sentence. Okay, तो वो क्या कर सकते हैं कि पूरी लाइन पढ़ के सेंटेंस जो वर्ड है उसके मीनिंग का अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं. सो इन्फर का मीनिंग हम क्या समझ सकते हैं? अंदाजा लगाना. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट वर्ड पे मूव करते हैं. सो नेक्स्ट वन इज इंटरप्रेट, राइट? सो इंटरप्रेट का मतलब क्या होता है? सबसे पहले देखते हैं ये कौन सा पार्ट ऑफ स्पीच है, राइट? So this is basically a verb again. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of interpret? So interpret means to understand or to explain. Okay. Let's see. So I'm writing it over here. Interpret means to explain or to provide meaning. Okay. So let's try to understand it better with the help of example. So this is the example. Here we are saying that Semi did not understand the results from his lab experiment, so his partner interpreted the meaning of the results to him. That means जो Semi है, उसने कोई lab experiment करा, but उसको meaning समझ में नहीं आया. So what his partner did? His partner interpreted. Basically, his partner explained or provided the meaning of the results to him so that he can understand. Okay. So what was the first word? Infer, andaza lagana. That means to have estimate, to determine something through indirect means. Okay. And second is interpret. That means to explain or to provide meaning. Let's move ahead towards the next word, and this is predict. So again, predict is also a verb. Now, when it comes to discuss the meaning of the word, so predict means, as you know that predict means to make guess, but it we will write to make an educational guess. Okay, that means andaza lagana, but थोड़ा सोच समझ के फैक्ट्स के बेसिस पे। अब जैसे आपको वेदर की प्रिडिक्शंस आती हैं, ठीक है, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स वो ट्रू ही होती हैं, ठीक है। व्हाई इज इट सो? बिकॉज वो प्रिडिक्ट तो करते हैं, और वर्ड क्या हो सकता है, फोरकास्ट तो करते हैं, एंटिसिपेट तो करते हैं, बट दे डू इट with an educational guess. ठीक है, so let's give a look to the written sentence now, to the example. So it is that after reviewing his class notes, Muhammad predicted some questions that he thought would be on the exam. That means मोहम्मद ने अपने क्लास नोट्स को अच्छे से देखने के बाद क्या प्रिडिक्ट करा, अंदाजा लगाया कि ओके ये वाले जो क्वेश्चंस हैं दैट कैन बी देयर इन योर फाइनल एग्जाम्स, right? So first word is infer. That means to determine something to indirect by indirect means. Okay, अपने आप अंदाजा लगाना. Second is interpret. That means to explain, and third is to predict. That means to make an educational guess. Now let's move ahead towards the next word. And what is it? This is elaborate. आई नो शायद आपको बीच में से थोड़े वर्ड्स आते भी होंगे या किसी को सारे भी आते होंगे, बट यस वी आर गोइंग टू वर्क ऑन द यूसेज, राइट? सो प्लीज गिव इट अ लुक. सो elaborate again is a verb. Now if we discuss the meaning of this word elaborate, now what the meaning is, let's see. So the meaning is to explain in detail. ठीक है, अभी your question should be, do you think that interpret and elaborate are same? Because here as well I'm writing to explain, and here as well I'm writing to explain. So the answer is a clear no. Why? Interpret means to explain, but elaborate means to explain in detail. Okay, so let's suppose you are asking me about any course, right? So if I want to, I just want to interpret, I can say that, all right, so these are the timings and this is the syllabus. But what if you want elaboration on that? Then I'll be discussing everything, like what are the timings, who would be teaching you, which modules would be covered, what are the which what is the timetable, and everything, right? So let's read the example. So what is it? Miss Atkins liked the class idea about having a party on the last day of school and asked her students to elaborate on the details of the event. That means Miss जो Atkins है उनको बहुत अच्छा लगा कि ओके स्कूल के लास्ट डे पे यू कैन हैव अ पार्टी, बट उन्होंने स्टूडेंट्स को क्या कहा कि ओके आप प्लीज अपने आइडियाज को एलैबोरेट कर दीजिए कि आप कहना क्या चाहते हैं, राइट? होप this is clear too. Let's move ahead. So now we are here on our fifth word, and this is outline. So outline is again a verb first of all. Okay. So देखिए outline का मतलब क्या होता है, जब हम क्या करते हैं ऊपर ऊपर से चीजें बता देते हैं. So let's write down the meaning. So this means to lay out the main features. ओके, यानी कि सिर्फ मेन फीचर्स के बारे में बताना. ठीक है, अब जैसे किसी कोचिंग का मेन फीचर क्या हो सकता है, अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं एंड रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड कोचिंग है, लाइक दिस. ओके, सो क्या एग्जांपल हमें गिवन है, लेट्स गिव इट अ लुक. सो द एग्जांपल इज Meena outlined the most important points that would be on the test. That means उसने detail नहीं दी. What she said, okay, you can go over chapter 1. The topics are social integrity and something like this. Just the name of the topic. So she basically outlined but did not explain any kind of detail. Okay, so these are the words that you might be aware of already, but we have to work on the usage. That which one is the word that is suitable at which particular situation. Okay, let's move ahead. So next word is compare. We have given two words together over here. First is compare, and then we have contrast. You might be thinking that both are similar, but yes, these are similar, but there is difference as well. So I'll be explaining that over here, right? So what is compare? Again, it is a verb. And what is contrast? This is also a verb. Okay. Now, you might want to ask that then what is the difference? Okay, so compare का मतलब क्या होता है? Let me write down the meanings first of all. So compare means to see difference, and contrast means to determine how things are different. So what we are saying basically that कंपेयर का मतलब क्या होता है कि हम जस्ट डिफरेंस देख रहे हैं. ठीक है, लेट्स सपोज कि मेरे लिसनिंग के, दिस इज व्हाट दे हैव गिवन एज their example as well, so let me explain. So they are saying Thiago compared his last listening test results with his current ones and realized that he had improved. ठीक है, लेट्स सपोज उसके फर्स्ट टेस्ट में क्या स्कोर आ रहा था, 6.5 आ रहा था, बट अभी जो है 8 आने लग गया. तो उसको सिर्फ स्कोर्स कंपेयर करके क्या पता चला कि ओके ही हैज कंपेयर्ड, बट डिड ही कंपेयर कि कौन सा पार्ट इंप्रूव हुआ है कौन सा नहीं हुआ. ठीक है, तो वो चीज यहाँ पे नहीं है, वी आर जस्ट हैविंग द कंपैरिजन. ठीक है, ऊपर ऊपर से. नेक्स्ट, contrast. Contrast means to determine things, how things are different. That means little bit detail. So let's see the example. They are saying that Mariam learned the contrast between P and B sounds as in pack and bag in her English class. Okay, so what is the difference? What is the detail? She could have said that, okay, I have learned the difference between P and B. These words are different. But she said pack and back, both are different. So compare means just to compare. Contrast means to compare and to notice what are the differences. Okay, so I hope you are clear with all the words till here. Let's revise it once again. So first one word is infer, which means to determine something through indirect means. Second is interpret. Interpret means to explain or to provide meaning. Third is predict, which means to make an educational guess. And fourth one is elaborate, that means to explain everything with a lot of detail. Okay, let's move ahead. So our fifth word is outline, that means to just lay out the main features. Next is compare. Compare means just to do the comparison, comparison from the upper side, overview we can say. Seventh is contrast, to compare and see how things are different basically. Okay, so these all are the differences words basically. Let's move ahead towards the next part now. So here we have our next word. This is persuade. Persuade, if we see, you might be aware that it means मनाना. ठीक है, या फिर convince करना किसी को किसी चीज के लिए. So first of all, let's discuss that what it is, that under which part of speech it comes. Okay, so it is basically a verb again. Now you might be thinking that why I'm telling you verb and all, आपका क्या लेना देना इससे? तो देखिए लेना देना है. Why it is important to understand for you that whether it is a verb or not, because we can change the verbs like persuade, persuaded, persuaded, but you cannot change the noun. Okay, so that is why I'm explaining it all to you. So persuade means to convince someone basically. मना लेना किसी को. ठीक है, so let's read the example now. So what we are saying that at first Camilla's parents were reluctant. Reluctant मतलब खिलाफ थे या मना कर रहे थे to let her join an after school English class. But उसके बाद क्या हुआ, she was able to persuade them eventually. Persuade, that means to convince them, and eventually means अंत में. That means पहले पहले जो है उसके parents क्या कर रहे थे, they were reluctant कि तुम ये क्लास ना ज्वाइन करो, इंग्लिश की क्लास आफ्टर स्कूल. बट उसके बाद she Camilla basically persuaded them, उसने उनको मना लिया. ठीक है, I hope this is clear. Now let's move ahead towards the next vocabulary word, and this is demonstrate. Now what it is also a verb. We can write demonstrated, demonstrated. Okay, it means dikhana, to show something. Now let me write the meaning. So this is exactly what I I have told you. So this is to show. Okay. Now let's try to understand it with the help of examples. So this is the teacher demonstrated to her class a way to change a statement into a question. डेमोन्स्ट्रेट मीन्स टू शो टीचर ने शो करा एक तरीका क्लास को कि कैसे हम एक सिंपल स्टेटमेंट को कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं क्वेश्चन स्टेटमेंट में राइट लेट्स सपोज आई एम saying that simple sentences you have eaten your food how will I change it into question part have you eaten your food so this is what the teacher told and demonstrated okay I hope this is clear now let's move ahead towards the next word which is generalize okay जनरलाइज का मतलब क्या होता है जनरल अंदाजा लेना किसी चीज का ठीक है नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस व्हाट इट इज बेसिकली सो दिस इज अगेन verb that means we can change it and we can write generalized okay so what is general that means जो हम कहते हैं कि जनरली सबको मीठा पसंद होता है दैट मीन्स समथिंग दैट इज कॉमन ठीक है तो व्हाट वी कैन राइट समथिंग कॉमन और व्हाट एल्स वी कैन से समथिंग यूजुअल जो आम हो चीज ठीक है Okay, so let's try to understand it better with the help of example. So they are saying that Ben generalized that taking notes in class would help all students improve their grades because it helped them. Now Ben ने क्या generalize कर दिया कि अगर आप क्लास में notes लेंगे तो it will really help you to improve your grades. Why he generalized? क्योंकि उसके personally scores better हो गए थे so that's why he said अगर आप भी notes लेंगे तो आपके भी scores जो है better हो जाएंगे right let's move ahead towards the next word now and this is assess ठीक है so what assess is let me write first of all assess is again a verb we can change it okay and the meaning of this is to evaluate. Let's suppose you have written an essay and you want it to be assessed by your teacher. That means you want to get it evaluated. You want to know about the marks that where do you stand right now. Okay, let's understand it with the help of example now. So this is saying that Mark assesses his students' performance based on their class participation and test scores. ठीक है कि जो मार्क है उसने अपने स्टूडेंट्स की परफॉर्मेंस को कैसे असेस करा उनके क्लास पार्टिसिपेशन एंड टेस्ट स्कोर्स के हिसाब से राइट सो लेट्स मूव अहेड so our next word is summarize सो समराइज का मतलब क्या होता है छोटा करके बताना दैट मीन्स ब्रीफ में बताना दिस इज अगेन अ वर्ब एंड द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस इज टू मेक कंसाइज और वी कैन से ब्रीफ छोटा करके बताना ठीक है All right. So let's try to understand it better with the help of example. So we are saying that Emma forgot to do her reading homework, so she asked her classmate to summarize the reading for her before class started. That means एम्मा ने जो है जो रीड करके आने के लिए बोला था टीचर ने शी फॉरगॉट टू डू दैट ठीक है वो नहीं करके आई तो उसने अपने क्लासमेट को क्या बोला ओके तुम प्लीज मुझे शॉर्ट में बता दो प्लीज एक्सप्लेन दिस टू मी इन ब्रीफ that what is the meaning of this and what you have read in the whole story right so this is what summarize means that means to tell something in summarized form okay so I hope this is clear now and let's move ahead towards the next word and the next one word we have this is gist what does it mean सबसे पहले we cannot change it this comes under noun okay right so noun means किसी चीज का कॉमन नाउन, प्रॉपर नाउन ऐसा हो सकता है, ठीक है, कोई भी टाइप हो, लेकिन आप उसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते, आप इतना समझ लीजिए। यू कैन वॉच द डिटेल लेक्चर्स ऑन दैट एज वेल, बट अगर आपको नहीं देखने हैं, देन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दिस बेसिकली refers to the name of something. Okay, so what is the meaning of gist? That means main idea of something. Okay, so let's try to understand it better with the help of this example. So they have written that Edward was feeling sleepy in class, so he did not hear most of the lesson. That means Edward को क्लास में बहुत ज्यादा नींद आ रही थी, so उसने ज्यादातर लेसन जो है वो नहीं सुना, but he got the gist of what the teacher said. But उसको gist मिल गया, that means उसको समझ में आ गया main idea that what the teacher was saying. Okay, next पे move करते हैं, and our next word is response. This one. Okay, so response का मतलब क्या समझते हैं आप? रिप्लाई देना किसी को, ठीक है, तो response को चेंज रिस्पॉन्स्ड सुना है? नो, ठीक है, तो क्या होगा ये भी हमारा नाउन, ठीक है। अभी वन मोर थिंग, सम वर्ड्स कैन हैव टू फॉर्म्स, लाइक वो वर्ब एंड नाउन दोनों हो सकते हैं, ठीक है। सो देखिए रिस्पॉन्स का मतलब क्या होता है, बेसिकली आंसर टू अ क्वेश्चन, किसी सवाल का जवाब देना, ठीक है। So let's try to understand it with the help of example now. So they are saying Althea asked her class a question, but there was no response. The class was shy. That means Althea ने अपने क्लास में एक क्वेश्चन पूछा, बट कोई भी जवाब नहीं आया। क्यों नहीं आया? Because the whole class was shy. They were feeling बैशफुल कह सकते हैं शाय को, ठीक है, दैट मीन्स शर्मीला। बैशफुल के स्पेलिंग क्या होते हैं, देखिए BASHFUL, ठीक है, क्योंकि क्लास शर्मीला फील करी थी, शाय फील करी थी, तो उन्होंने जवाब नहीं दिया, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट पे चलते हैं, 15th वर्ड विच इज कोहेरेंस। नाउ द वर्ड इज नाउन, ठीक है, एंड कोहेरेंस का मतलब क्या होता है, किसी भी चीज में लिखने के तरीके में या बोलने के तरीके में फ्लो, और वी कैन से लिंकेज इन आइडियाज। ओके, अब समझते हैं। अब जैसे मान लीजिए आई एम नरेटिंग अ स्टोरी टू यू, ठीक है, तो उसमें एक लिंकेज होना चाहिए कि कैसे क्या हुआ, इसके बाद ये हुआ, उसके बाद वो हुआ। या एक चाय बनाने का भी प्रोसेस डिस्कस करते हैं, तो हम क्या बोलते हैं, ओके पहले ऐसा करिए फिर ऐसा करिए, ऐसा तो नहीं कहते ओके चाय रेडी है, बट अभी आपको चाय पत्ती डालनी थी एंड ऑल, लाइक वी डिडंट mess up with the ideas. We try to maintain a perfect flow or linkage in the ideas, and this is what the coherence called. Okay, now let's try to understand it with the help of examples. So they are saying that Daniel could not understand anything his classmate Shirley was telling him because there was no coherence in the things she said. That means Daniel को कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया जो भी उसके क्लासमेट ने कहा, बिकॉज जो भी चीजें उसने बताई उसमें कोई भी coherence, that means linkage, नहीं था। So with this we have completed all our 15 words. Okay, let's revise them very quickly. So you may note down the meanings or you may take the screenshots as well. One more thing, the link of the PDF has been attached after the lecture. You may get that. Okay. So first is infer. That means to determine something through indirect means. Second is interpret. Interpret means to explain or to provide meaning. Then we have third word, that means predict. That means to make an educational guess. Fourth is elaborate. That means to explain something in detail. Fifth is outline. That means to lay out the main features. Sixth is compare. To means to see the difference. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of contrast? That means to see the difference, but with details. Okay. That means to see how things are different. All right. Now let's move ahead towards the next part. All right. So this is persuade, that means to convince someone. Ninth is demonstrate, which means to show something. Okay. 10th is generalize, that means something common or usual. 11th is assess, that means to evaluate. Okay. If we move towards the next part, this means summarize, 12th one. That means to make concise or brief. Okay. Next is gist. Now, gist and summarize can be used as synonyms. Okay. So this means the main idea of something. Response. That means answer to a question, and coherence, last one. That means the flow or linkage in your ideas. With this, we have covered all of our 15 vocabulary words related to classroom vocabulary in detail. Now, what your homework is, that you have to complete these exercises. That means you have to complete your worksheet number 2 as your homework, and the next part you need to do is this worksheet number 3. In second worksheet, what you have to do is you have to choose words from this list. Okay, these are only the 15 words that I have already explained to you. So you have to choose the words from this list, and then you have to fill in the blanks as per the situation by understanding the situation. Why we have given this? So that you can understand the practical usage of all these words. You can try to make the sentences on your own as well, but before that, it is important to do this exercise so that you can understand it well. And after that as well, for your revision part, we have given this matching part. Like you have to match where is the meaning of infer up to demonstrate all the words, right? So this is all you have to do in your homework. Please complete it as soon as possible, and I'll be back in the next class with the discussion of this all. Right? So thank you so much for watching the lecture, and I hope it was useful for you. Have a good time ahead. Take care.